G'day, welcome to Hogs, Cogs and Aussie Flogs, the greatest podcast this side of Bundalong.
Bundalong. Spelt BF nowhere.
Yeah. Just
Bundalong.
Freaking put this chair up a little bit. I feel short. That's it, done. Excuse me, folks, that's better.
How professional was that? We're going to have words. Bundalong. Well, we'll get into Bundalong a little bit later in the show, mate.
Yep.
But first, we got a little bit of an update. A lot of you will have seen it on the Facebook and all that. Peter Stevens. We were last time when we reported, we said next Wednesday they're going to come out with something. They're going to tell us exactly who the new owners are. Well, they haven't.
No.
And they still haven't.
No.
That's interesting.
It is.
And in the meantime, it's come out that they're $65 million in the red.
Yep.
And 2.1 million of that is customers' deposits. That's the 2.1 that upsets me. What are you thinking?
I don't think they're going to get their money back.
No, I don't think the customer, especially we had one guy contact me and 2 days before he'd put a deposit down on a brand new Grey Ghost Fat Boy.
Yep.
And that's heartbreaking because you know full well that the first people that will get paid will be the accountants that are...
tax department, accountants.
Then the tax department, accountants,
else.
then your big businesses,
Yep.
like Harley Davidson.
Yep.
And the poor bloke who basically the shop was designed to cater for is going to be treated last. And that sucks. Now, they say, and I was looking at it in a post, that they make about $250 million a year. So 65 mil out of 200, when you're looking at it's not as much as to me. It sounds more like a liquidity thing. What do you reckon? Because to me, they'd have shitloads more than that just in property values. For you got Ringwood, Dandenong, you got Melbourne, the one in Melbourne. You got a shitload of property.
Yes, and with that,
so no one should go out.
Well, it all depends on do they own it or does the bank own it? Then you got land tax on top of it. They're going to have a huge wages bill with 400 staff.
Yeah.
If you're not, so there's 2 ways of looking in business: is turnover and profit.
Yeah.
Profit's the one you got to have.
Yeah.
Don't worry about turnover.
The 250 million turnover means zil. If it's costing you 251 million.
Exactly right. Right. So I think that's going to be the issue as to what their what's their profit like. Obviously, their profit is an issue, and I would dare say, selling new bikes and that it's a very competitive market, especially with the likes of Morgan and Wacker being involved.
Yeah.
And then they're a big.
There's only about 3 or 4%, isn't there, in a new bike?
It's bugger all.
There's not that much in a new, but probably make more off t-shirts than they do off new bikes.
Oh, they would. they would. I mean, what they're hoping for is to catch it in the servicing, aftermarket stuff. That's when that's when they sort of make their money, and that's why they try and upsell you. The car game is exactly the same. You're not making it bugger all on. I mean, sometimes on cars, the dealerships, if they're a factory dealership, they're giving away the car at cost or below to get a rebate back from the factory to make up the numbers. So, if they're doing
and then they pick up with servicing and the like.
Exactly. That's what they're going. Now, if your servicing drops off and your sales drop off, well, then you're in strife, right?
Yeah.
So, look, I'd hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think unfortunately those people that have put deposits in, I can't. Yeah. I mean, this is all speculation as well, but I can't see them.
But we see it all the time, mate. With when the housing game goes to the shit, the last person that gets paid is the poor bastard who's put their life savings into their own house.
Me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's happened to me. It's quite a few times, and you go to the creditors' meetings and all sorts of stuff, and you just know you're not gonna. I don't even bother going anymore because you're getting 2 cents, 3 cents in the dollar. Yeah. If they owe you $100,000, what do you do? It's not worth my time going there.
You'll be able to go and buy the Panadol to pay for the headache that the whole thing's giving you.
Exactly.
So
where we go from here, I don't know. I think. I know they had a whole heap of buyers interested. I dare say, once they saw the books, some people get a bit gun shy. Others say, it's a bit like, the vultures circling the carcass. And okay, we might get a cheap deal here.
It's interesting that 2 years ago they split the importing and the retail section apart. I don't know what you can read into that, but
I wouldn't be surprised if they break if it gets sold off in lots.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the only way they're going to do it. Because for somebody to take over with a $65 million debt, mate, they're going to do wholesale changes.
Oh, yeah. First thing we could start with is some customer service.
Yeah, but it's not even that. I mean,
sorry, mate.
There's more to the customer service. Like there's to be $65 million in the red.
That's a lot of money.
You've got to be, there's got to be some issues there in the back office that aren't working properly.
Yeah.
And look, don't get me wrong, mate. $65 million sounds like a lot of money, but mate, you rack up $65 million with a debt in a company that's turning over, what'd you say,
250
mil?
Yeah,
that happens pretty quick.
Yeah,
right. If you have, I mean, all it takes is you got 400 staff, right? Say at an average of $1,000 each a week, right? That's a lot of money you got to come up with every week. Now, if all of a sudden you have a downturn in sales, you keep the same staff. And they'll be on more than $1,000 a week, but but there'll be some will be on a fair bit more. You have a downturn in sales, an uptick in staff, in wages. You have an uptick in land tax. You have an uptick in the cost of getting goods in now that we have, because we have there's tariffs have come on.
Yeah.
Freight is ridiculous. All of a sudden, it's almost a perfect storm, and it adds up quick.
And that's the scary thing, is because if it can do that to the big ones, what's it doing to the little ones?
Yeah, well, sometimes the little ones are better off because they haven't got as many overheads.
Yeah.
Right? See, if you haven't got the overheads, you can tread water for a while. If you've got big overheads, you almost can't tread water. You have to. You need to find another avenue quickly.
Yeah.
Or you need to lay off staff quickly. That's just the way, unfortunately, it's the way business works.
Well, this episode of Business Weekly has been brought to you by... Well, it's interesting, but as we said, we will give you an update on the Facebook group and on social media as soon as we know anything extra. I didn't update the bit about the 65 billion because it's not really it doesn't really add much to it at this, apart from the fact that we knew they were in the shit, now we just know how deep.
Yeah, But it's surprising because I was all I was sure that they were going to announce it on the Wednesday, and obviously something's happened between now and then.
Something must have happened, mate, because they were. In fact, I spoke to one of the managers, and they said, "No, next Wednesday they're announcing who the new owner is," and we've heard now. Nothing, and that person's no longer answering the phone. So be it. So that's the case. Alrighty, mate. Now, mate, I don't know if most of you will follow our mate Eamon and his Old Not Dead YouTube channel. If you're not, where have you been?
Yes.
He does a ripper show, and last night's show, on Sunday night's show, he was on a ride with a group.
Yep.
And one of the riders in that group came down.
Yep.
Let's just have a little snippet, which we've asked Eamon, and he's more than happy with us to utilise this little bit of footage from you. So thanks, Eamon. Take a look at this.
You all right? So one of the boys has come off and had an accident. He looks, actually I'm not sure if he's okay. And look at this. This is what he's hit. Like, look at this. I mean, I don't know at what angle he's hit it at. Most of the guys missed it. He's hit it there, has he?
Well, he's come across here, but look at the price of that.
Yeah, I know.
That's 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah, it's a good point. So let's to put that in perspective, there's my fist against it. So if you come up,
Front tyre's gone. He's skidded down and rolled the book.
oh wow, shows you, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, basically a mate was in front and he hit the ridge and he went pear-shaped.
so you could see him in your mirror.
Yeah, right. Then I moved and then he hit it. And yeah, that's when he just went sideways basically and just got out this way.
Yeah.
we've got no pelvic fractures.
Yeah, well, there you go, mate. Like it's,
Mate, have a look at the site. That was bloody
yeah.
right in the middle of the road. But it was very courteous of the council to come and put a little bit of white paint around it, don't you think? Eh?
Like you said, it's like having a bluestone block in the middle of the road and then come and go, make sure you don't hit this and put spray paint around it.
Yeah,
Like, rather
yeah.
than, like, oh,
But here's the guy with the spray can that they're sending around to mark these things. Can you give him a sledgehammer to knock the freaking tops off these pimples? Because that thing was insane.
Yep.
And look, unfortunately, the rider obviously didn't see it in time, whether he was behind someone.
You know what it is though, too? Because it's black bitumen.
Yeah.
All you need is a couple of shadows over it or whatever, and you just don't see it. That's the problem.
Yeah. And
if it was a pothole, you would see it and avoid it.
And this is another thing is what we're going to have to talk to the Assistant Commissioner about when
Yep.
we speak to him next month. Now, that that bulge in the road
Yep.
was probably nearly 500 metres from where the rider came to rest.
Yes.
Now, if it comes down to the local traffic cop coming down or the local policeman coming down and
Yep.
investigating it, I can see him walking back 100 metres and go, well, there's nothing here that's caused a
Yep.
problem.
He's just come off.
How many are going to walk back 500 metres? That's half a kilometre.
Yeah.
But by the time this guy hit it, lost control, fought it like a bucking bronco, apparently from all accounts. He did a bloody great Tex Perkins, mate. He was bloody... He ended up in mid-air and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And if you look at the... in that video, if you go back, have a look at the damage to his helmet.
Yeah.
Thank God he was wearing a helmet
Yes.
or a decent helmet
Yeah.
because he would have been
In all
cacti.
sorts.
And believe it or not, he walked away with just a broken nose.
Yeah.
And probably a headache, I'd suggest.
Yeah, but
it all comes down to the investigating police officers' skills and diligence. You know, because imagine if the same thing had happened, the guy had been on his own riding, right? Police and the ambulance had turned up after the next car came along and found this bloke dead on the road.
Yep.
Would someone have walked back half a kilometre
Yeah.
and pieced two and two together? I don't know. It's highly likely no. And this is why we need to certainly make sure that vehicle collision investigation is on point.
At a premium.
Yeah.
And just on that, like we had another rider last week on the Karoot Creek off ramp or on ramp, one of the two, got killed. Now, what do you?
Is this coming from Melbourne to Karoot Creek Road?
I think so. I think.
Well, I just came off that half an hour ago, mate.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's no other vehicles involved. There's only one way you could be. It's simple. You've either had a bike malfunction.
Yep.
Or you've been going too hard.
Yep.
I'm sorry. It's the biggest, longest, sweepingest thing
It's not
known to man.
It's not a sharp.
It's not a sharp bend.
No.
And I can tell you, I didn't see any.
Unless
faults on the road.
he's clipped somebody.
Unless he's clipped somebody and the person's kept going.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But guys, all we're saying here is you've got to keep yourself in check.
Yep.
We are losing way too many bike riders
Yep.
to single vehicle accidents. Now, a lot of them, I believe, are being caused like this accident the other day.
Yep.
Right? By poor road condition.
Yep.
But we all know the roads are crap out there at the moment.
So you got to ride.
So you got to ride appropriately.
Yep.
You know, and I know some people will call me a pussy. Well,
So
I didn't make it to 62.
You're a live pussy.
Yeah, I'm a live pussy. That's it. And I think that's
Sometimes in the rain, you're a wet pussy. Just saying.
Everybody likes. Okay, so I'm lost. You do this to me all the time. Take two. All right. Please be careful out there. Please be careful out there.
Yep.
I don't want to have to go through this again.
Don't be a wet pussy.
Yes.
It's
We need to go somewhere else for a moment. So, next segment.
yes.
Indian gets owned by Aussies.
Yes.
This is a very interesting story which we've had a little bit to do with lately, mate. Go right ahead and tell the good people while I recover over here.
Oh, hang on. Stop. All right. So, hang on, wait.
Speaking of wet pussies,
Oh, come on. All right. So the other week we actually did a recce, a scouting recce for the Brass Monkey Run, and part of that
where there will be lots of wet flogs.
Yes, and part of that was so a couple of years ago I met this guy Peter Birthwhistle, and you've been talking to him as well. And then what happened was after we did the show with Dougal, I think Peter's wife watched it and
shot me an email.
Yeah, so would you guys come out? And so what we did was we thought, you know what, we're up there looking for stuff to do for the Flogs. Why don't we go along and have a look at this collection? Now, this collection is not just a collection. What's happened is Peter's turned it into a business.
Not just a business.
A worldwide business.
Business!
Yeah. From a place called Bundalong to all over the bloody world.
Bundalong. If you look up BF nowhere in a dictionary,
That's
you'll
Bundalong.
find a photo of Bundalong. There ain't nothing there really.
No.
Is there? There's a pub, by the way. Peter built the pub.
Exactly, yes. He needs to try a bit harder.
Yeah. So it's called, I think it's Indian Engineering Australia.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
His company, and they make one of the things they make is brand new heads for old Indians.
Yeah.
Right? So
among a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of other stuff. But I think the biggest thing they've got is these new heads for old pre-1950s Indians.
Yeah.
And they're the only place on the planet doing it.
Yeah, well, it's Peter and his son as well.
And his son,
his son does it as well. And they still race Indians, which you'll see you'll see a couple of those bikes in the video coming up. But he's such a knowledgeable bloke. I just love talking to these guys. Like it's just
they're all the same, aren't they? All
yes.
these guys that have been into classic bikes, whether it be Dougal, Peter, all of them.
Your mate, Dave
Saunderson.
Yes.
All of these guys, their knowledge level is just. We just sit there in awe.
Yeah.
It's like two kids at Christmas time when we're in, and you don't have to ask them more than once to explain something, mate, because their knowledge level is so high that you ask them about here and they tell you the history of it, and it's just phenomenal. If you're into old bikes, if you're into classic bikes,
and he had some crackers. And mate, walk it into that shed. Oh, anyway, all you flogs that are coming on the Brass Monkey Run are actually going to have the opportunity to go and
see this full collection.
See this full collection, the whole box and dice, how he makes the stuff, where he makes it, the workshop, the whole lot, and they're putting, I think, an afternoon tea for us as well, which we thank them for.
So that is going to be a ripper day, mate. But for those of you that aren't coming on the Brass Monkey Run, A, why not? And B, because there is still a little bit of room.
Yep.
Take a look at this.
So we're here with Peter, who's the president of the Indian Club.
Yes, that's correct.
With this magnificent collection of...
Bloody Indians, mate. They've taken over this show.
Oh, they've taken over the show.
They have taken over. They really have.
Yep, and we're in his shed. Why do you see this place? It is incredible. Mate, how did you get started and how long have you been going for?
Well, I was riding an FJ 1100 for years, and then we're working on a job site, and a bloke said, come and have a look at this Indian that I've got. And I wanted to slow down a little bit then, and so we did. I bought this little Indian chopper.
Yep.
Which I've still got the original bike that I did up first off, but slowed down. I got off a bike that was good for 150 mile an hour to something that went 50 mile an hour flat out. So I thought I had to get off and walk beside it. So and then it sort of.
So how long ago was that? When was that?
Back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
Yep.
So, and then I sold the FJ 1100 and brought a basket case Indian from a bloke over in South Australia. Barry Idiot, we called him. So anyway, so I built that bike up and finished it, and then there was enough parts left over, so I brought another Indian, and then
now just before you go on, I'm just going to turn this camera around, and I'll see he bought a few Indians since then. As you can see, the collection has got a little bit bigger.
Mate, I think I think you just bought one Indian. And something happened though. Why did you suddenly go, right, that's it, Indians for me?
Well, back in the days, you know, we all rode responsible. You know, like, and by the time you...
I'm sorry. You're around about my age. I'm calling bullshit on that.
Yeah. And it was just the way I thought, right, it's time to start slowing down a little bit.
Yep.
So hence we got into the Indians. They're big old cruisers, and then I just fell in love with them.
Yep.
The style. And it wasn't a Harley. And
no, can't all be perfect, can we?
yeah. So, and it was just, they were just unique. And then people would pull up and you'd say, they'd look at the bike and they go, "Is it a Harley?" And they go, "No." And then, you know, then the story, and then the Harley Indian Wars and stuff like that. So it just evolved from there. And then, so I slowed down for a little bit, and then next thing you get addicted to speed again. Next thing I'm racing bikes and hand shift races. And the hand shift racing is, if you're going to watch some racing at Broadford, like, we'll get 25, 30 on the grid, and it's just an amazing race to watch. And then
So when you say hand shift, just tell the people with
Harley versus Indian.
Right, yes.
So your best mates in the shed and you're helping each other out, and you may allow the Harley guy to use a bit of your air out of your pump and, you know, minimal stuff. But then you get on the racetrack, and then the red mist comes down, and then it's just full on. I hate everybody sort of thing. So.
Yeah, but it's everybody else on the track, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
You got to win, don't you?
That's it. But and then we got onto the Urquhart 8 valves, and like, they are like aggressive. They're most out of control sonic thing you can ride. They wheel stand off the line.
Yep.
Race with a mate, Stan Moocher, that it's pretty competitive between him and I.
Yep.
He may beat me every now and then, but
Not very often.
he does all right. And then I was fortunate enough to get Kenny Lucas's Vincent race bike, and that's just next level cool.
And we'll have a look at those in a second. We'll show you all this.
Yeah.
And you're building bikes and that for people now, aren't you?
Yeah, we build a lot of race bikes. Most of our work's race bikes.
Yep.
Learning the technology with the side valve.
Yep.
To get more performance, and build some pretty quick bikes. The son and myself.
Yep.
With the bikes, so yeah, they're going pretty cool.
The vast majority of bikes, they're from when they were really Indians, weren't they? Like pre-53.
That's correct. Yeah. The later model one's probably not in my interest. So,
Yep.
But I'm more into modified bikes, modified Indians, I suppose, as well. And I enjoy getting the grinder tour.
Yep.
Like, there's a bloke rocked up, and when he said he wants to build a chopper, I'm in love with this guy.
You got a new friend?
Yeah. No, we're building a couple of choppers here at the moment.
Yep.
And the choppers are cool to ride, but the race bikes, like,
Where it's at.
yeah, it's where it's at. So.
Well, you've got a few of the race bikes just here. Do you want to tell us about a couple of these?
Well, we went out the salt on this one probably 5 years ago.
This one?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That's a 1340cc overhead valve configuration on methanol with twin carbies. They're running a 38mm AML, so 6,500 revs. The last run on the dyno was 180 mile an hour, so you take all your consideration of your factors like the wind speed and all that sort of, you lose 10% with the your traction.
Yep.
So we've got 157.45 mile an hour out of it, chasing a open class record 158.75, I think is the record. So we're getting pretty close. So the two, Anzani and the 8 valve, have been out the salt, so they're both 157 mile an hour bikes. So.
Yeah.
Now I'll just show you these, folks. So look at this. We're getting closer here. So have a look at that.
Mate, the character that they have is insane, isn't it?
And that's the Anzani, yeah?
Yep. You start them up and they're just monsters.
Just beautiful.
The red one is the favourite one.
Yep.
The favourite one.
This one?
That is a pretty looking bike though, isn't it?
And I reckon it took me 2 years to learn how to ride it properly. My son rode it, and first time he rode it, he said, "Dad, it's just too aggressive, and we'll have to make him a little seat around the back because it'll just push it off the back of the seat."
Really?
Yeah, you're going to hang on to him. Like as you accelerate, you're sort of dragging yourself up.
So all three of these are for the salts?
These two here.
These two are for the salt?
This one we're going to put back to race. So I go racing with me baby boy, who's 27 now. So
Now, you have to do anything special with them because you're on the salt? You got to really wash them down later on, or do you treat them with anything?
Yeah. Virtually going to strip the bike again. I'm going.
And what about this one here?
The Nordian.
Yeah. What's the
featherbed frame? That was also owned by a well-known racer back in the day, Max Wypont. They used to run their Norton motors in it to run it in.
Yep.
And we were running the 8-valve motor out of the salt bike in it, so at 1340cc and a race bike. And his name was Max. So Russell, Rissole we call him, he named it Max, and so I named it To The Max.
Yep.
Because to honour Max Wypont, and it was To The Max.
And this next one here, the Vincent. Now I know a bit of a story about this, and it's one of the things I regret. I never got to. I know this is Ken Lucas's bike, and I never got to interview him. I'm spewing I never got to do it, but yeah, tell us a story about this one.
Well, I was fortunate enough that Brenda rang me up, and I always spoke to Ken about buying the bike off him, and he goes, "Peter, you can't afford it." I said, "Try me out, Ken." He goes, "I want $150,000 for it." And I said, "Well, you're right, Ken. You can't afford it." But anyway, Brenda rang me up, and she was organising Ken's affairs, and next thing I was allowed to pay it off, and I'd only just paid it off. And it was a poor choice of tyres, and I raced it at Mac Park, and then we raced it at Broadford, and I was coming fourth in the period 3. That's when all the tough guys get out there. You're rubbing shoulders with the best guys out there. And anyway, I was coming fourth, and then 2 minutes later, 2 seconds later, I was coming last. And next thing, the ladies come up with a meat wagon. "Get in the bus." I went, "No, I'm fine. Get in the bus." No, I'm fine. Anyway, I had to get in the bus, and next thing, a bit of a sore wrist and broken rib, and and the bike's looking a little bit worse for wear. But
Did you do the right thing and throw yourself underneath it?
I was too busy dropping and rolling. I looked like this big turtle, buddy, rolling across. I knew I was in the dirt because it was getting dusty.
Beautiful looking machine, though.
Yeah, it's a monster when it starts.
Now, tell a bit of a story about Ken, because Ken was 90 odd.
I think he was about 92 when he died. There is a bit of Kenny here.
Yep.
There's his race boots and his helmet and his leathers that we're going to hang up in honour of Ken. So,
yep. How long? I'll just spin you around, mate. So we've got the light, wasn't you? How old was Ken when he was still racing?
I think he was racing. I think he was getting close to about 87 or 89.
I love that. But, how good is that?
And the worst part about, he was in our same races, so tell me when we're racing. Yeah, right. So you get there and you'd have to lift his leg over and start him up and send him off on the race.
But how cool is that though? Really, like just
the best race with Kenny. We're up racing at in Sydney. What's a racetrack up there?
Eastern Creek.
Eastern Creek.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kenny was racing with the hand shifters in our class, and the night we raced the first day, and then righto, Kenny, we were all going for a drink, and so he opened his door, and Kenny goes, "Oh yeah, I'll be there in a minute, stark naked." Stark naked, oh, we all can see. And he goes, "Hang on, I'll just get something to drink." So he turns around, and out the old flies on, he's hanging, looking straight at you, cannot unsee things sometimes. But the next day we went racing, and then we'd agreed, righto, Kenny was racing, he was always potted around the back at that stage, and we'd all slowed down apart from one guy. So Kenny led the hand shifters over the finish line in front of all the hand shifters on his Douglas, and I think that was a highlight
Cool.
of his little racing career.
What a great bloody thing to do.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
This is my son that set all these up. The early bikes, the katanas, and that was my growing up years.
Yep.
And then we've set them up in 50, 51, 50, 50. A Vindian, which is pretty cool. I built that probably 16 years ago.
Have a look at these.
And Vindian we rode around Europe, and like it's the most ridden bike here in the shed. So
Which one's that one?
the Vindian. It's
Okay, yep, this
the
one.
Vincent
The blue
motor.
one.
Yep.
So it's a Vincent motor in an Indian. Oh,
Yeah. So
that just looks so cool. I mean, there's not much that looks better than a Vincent motor, is it?
They are
I mean,
cool.
really, they are a cool looking motor.
Yeah. We built that. Pete Arundel had built one, and I was in love with it then. So there's some pictures over there. So I had the pictures sitting in the workshop, and then you just kept getting the grinder out and made it fit. Like you got the old school guys like Jim Brownlee made the exhaust for it.
Yep.
A lot of those guys that like he's retired now. You're gonna miss like a lot of the stuff that people do. The magneto guys, the exhaust guys, the frame guys are all disappearing off the face of the earth. So
It's a shame, isn't it? And what's this other one down here?
the pink one,
Yep.
that come from India, which I brought off a friend of ours, and it's just old school
So that's an Indian.
Indian. Yeah. Is that I didn't want to wreck probably would have been done up in the 60s with the chrome forks, and that pink colour was like the trendy stuff when you're at trade school.
Yeah, yeah.
That colour, but it's got all the bling on it, so pretty cool thing.
And what's the go with this chopper?
You got to have a chopper. Everybody's got to have a chopper.
Ah, yes, I agree wholeheartedly.
The ratty looking one come from Sacramento, but it come from Mexico, and apparently it was drag racing a Harley, and it blew the front barrel off. When I got it, it was just a wreck.
Yep.
It was just the chain was rusted, so super loud, and we just made it out of like the gear sticks off an old Chev handbrake and all that sort of stuff. So,
Very, very cool.
and the other blue choppers, it's like that screams 60s.
Yeah.
The paint.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Have a bad day at work, okay? Instead of coming home and kicking the cat and the dog, you take your chopper for a ride.
Yeah.
See, we've just found the solution to family violence.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Every man gets a chopper. If the government just buys every man a chopper,
Yeah.
right, it's all sorted.
Well, that's it. They'll find a way of taxing it, though.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Look at these. Beautiful.
And
All
we've
right.
got an Excelsior hiding in the middle of this lot.
Yeah.
What's that all about? It just seems
Wow.
a little bit out of place.
Well,
As beautiful as it is.
normally you go to funerals to celebrate the person's life, but then the guy's brother, and he goes, while we're at the funeral, Peter, you better come and have a look at this Excelsior. And I went, oh, right, is anybody... We're at a funeral. But anyway, I had a look, and anyway, brought it from Owen, brought these two bikes from him.
Went to throw someone in the ground and came back with an Excelsior,
Yeah,
as you do.
That's it. Pretty cool bike.
They
Like
are
it's
a cool looking
1916, 1000cc. It sort of hammers down the road. It keeps good 55 mile an hour bike.
Really?
Yeah. The
Beautiful.
same with the early Chiefs here, a 55 mile an hour bike.
Wow.
I mean, this one here is just it's.
That's
This
not-
was black before black became trendy. I
Yeah,
would
well, I might have
suggest.
been the only one I didn't dust too. So,
Yeah.
Look at that, eh? That's farm fresh, that one.
but that's 1932. So 32, 33 is
Yeah.
India's last production year. So they only made about 3,200 that year. So they're starting to get a bit of a rare sort of egg. So
Yeah. Have a look at this.
Yeah.
it's
Leaf
chunky.
springs
Yeah.
and bloody.
It's
It's
chunky.
a beast. That is a beast of a
Yeah.
front wheel.
And this one here, we make the cylinders for all these 30 style bikes now, just in what we're doing. So
And by make them, you mean you pour them and or
I just do all the organising. But,
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll have a look in the other shed one day.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's pretty hard when you go for a ride, you think you go for a ride. But to test a set of cylinders, I wanted to put 1,500 mile before I went to the States on them. And like it wasn't a chore, but man, I was sick of going out of a night time, doing as many miles as I could. And I got back and I said to Tony, I've just about done it. I said, I've done 1,400 and and 47 miles. And I said, I think that'll do. And she goes, you can't live with yourself. If you didn't do the
No,
1,500 mile.
100%.
Next day, I went out and did
100%.
another 150 mile on the bike. So, but yeah, they go all over the world. We ship stuff. We're packing stuff today to go to Japan and America, and like it's with the internet, it's a worldwide business now. So.
Yep. Now, Pete was just talking before, Pete might actually get a YouTube channel going, showing his stuff up. So when he does, we'll let you know when that happens, because that'll be pretty bloody cool, I reckon.
Yeah, bit of tech videos and stuff like that. So
be awesome.
you got to get some of your information out of your head because you're going to die with it.
Yep, 100%.
And what you were saying is it's a worldwide fraternity though, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Because you were saying you were talking to Matt from Wheels Through Time.
Yeah.
Well, not someone little, like Matt from Wheels Through Time is pretty much godlike as far as I'm concerned. I love watching his stuff, and to have an Australian sort of version of that would be absolutely
it'd be fantastic.
It would be mint.
Yeah.
It really would be.
Yeah.
All right, what else you want to show us? What are these here?
They're little handship races.
Look at them.
This is my little baby boy's Mason.
Yep.
He's going pretty hard at the moment. He's sort of giving the Harleys a bit of a crack. And this is my Sports Scout that I've been racing for a few years now, so we're ready to put some of our ideas into like a faster, newer bike. This one here is just a customer's bike that raced the Pikes Peak. It's got a bit of history.
yeah.
This,
Okay, yep.
This is a 36 Sports Scout that's had a bit of racing history in America. So pretty cool little bike. We turned it in more of a race bike to go racing on our environment.
Yep.
We changed a few things. So, and it was being a race bike, it was worn out.
So what do you have to do different in conditions here compared to over there? What's the difference?
Oh, they had different footboards, and it was scraping the, you're leaning him over pretty hard.
Yep.
So just foot pegs, and brakes, and a bit of geometry, better tyres, fix the brakes.
Yep.
And we went for a different set of handlebars, so we still painted them white to give it that old school look.
Yep.
He's going pretty good on it.
It's definitely a cool looking unit, isn't it?
Yeah, look
Yeah.
at that. Very nice.
Now we do have to get over and have a look at the
Oh yeah.
2000
This one
over
is-
1912s as well.
This one is pretty cool. I should drag it out a little bit, but
Look at this.
That is
it's
pretty,
a
isn't it?
Northern feather bed that we've adapted.
A Nordian.
Yeah, so it's another Nordian, but it's just got a bit of a style to it. So that's the type of work that we're doing in the workshop. It's got a Commando primary on it with all the electrics in it, with a satellite bloody speedo.
Yep.
So
Oh, that GPS speedo.
GPS speedo.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty cool jigger. It takes, customer picks it up in about 2 weeks. You just got a couple little things to do to it, test ride it. But yeah,
Beautiful unit though, isn't it? Look,
Good
just
unit.
beautiful.
So you're talking about the Handshift racing series.
Yep.
When how often's that run?
They have 3 rounds every year.
Yep.
So normally had Winton,
Yeah.
but Winton you can't race at Winton at the moment because of the track. MA have canned the track because of the concrete walls.
Yep.
So Mount Gambier, we got Broadford, and could be Wakefield Park. I think the other one. I can't remember where the other one is.
They haven't run the. Have they run the one at Winton this year yet?
Yeah, it was just gone, but we didn't race.
Bummer.
So
Like, we might have to get up to that next year, Paul, and have a look at that. That looks
Yeah.
like a lot of fun.
Look at this gear on here too. That's pretty cool.
oh yeah, yeah, she's got the bling.
Yeah.
She's got the bling. Crone gets you home.
100%.
All right, what's next?
Shaft drive, that's a pretty cool thing. Indian did a shaft drive Indian. They made
Yep.
1,000 of those.
Yep.
And then the Harley. Why'd you say Harley like that?
You did, you said it.
Harley made an X8.
Yeah.
They're all bidding for the same contract in around about 42. But the Jeep got, you could build a Jeep in 3 minutes.
Yep.
And it took 4 people, so Harley and India missed out on the contract. So some of the motors were used as lighting towers and stuff like that, but they never really went into production on it. And the little red one, that's Mason's chopper. Beside it, the red one is my first Indian that I ever brought and restored. So
Which one? The
red one.
yeah, okay, this one here. Yeah, yeah.
And Mason's chopper is a little 7'1" chopper out of the 70s.
Jeez, look at that.
We're talking about Jim Brownlee before.
Yep.
That was the Sonic chopper
Yep.
front forks that Jim made, and they were engineered back in the day. So, yeah, pretty cool jigger.
How's the sissy bar on it?
Oh yeah.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
I've got to get over there and show you that sissy bar when we come around the other side.
Nick from Caffeine Machine built that for him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So.
Oh, well done, Nick.
Yeah. He's just copying another one. I think they're mucking around with another sissy bar for it at the moment. So.
Okay.
And the blue one beside it
Yep.
is a Sport Scout. They finished in 1942, the Sport Scout.
Yep.
That's a 1951 Sport Scout. So
The chopper looks like to me like it should have the biker off any which way but left.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
With his German helmet and
Yeah.
a spike on the top, it'd be cool as hell.
Yeah.
Eh? Left turn, Clyde.
It does.
like you say, you've got to have a chopper in your collection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing we ask everybody is, what's their favourite bike?
Do you say favourite wife or, or favourite bike?
Probably less trouble if we talk about the bike.
There's my little seat over there. It's got my favourite 24 Chief.
Yeah.
It's got my favourite 1914 Speedway Twin and the 1924
All right. So this is the Ace.
Ace. So
Tell us a bit about this.
I reckon it's one of the most original Aces in the world. I judged an Ace over the phone yesterday morning in America. Was referencing with this one off, for reference. Pardon me, for the judging. A lot of guys, I got to send photos of this bike so they can reference their bikes, or do a job on it. But
It's just so complete.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's never been pulled apart. Originally delivered to Tasmania, and I went from Tasmania to Bendigo to a friend over there, and then another bloke that I used to buy a lot of bikes through was old Don. Decided it shouldn't be going out of Australia, so he said, so I just paid him off. So, but yeah, it's an amazing bike.
It never fails to amaze me the number of unbelievable collections we've got in Australia.
Oh, it's massive.
I mean, Australia's,
Yeah.
we must, per head of population, we must have the best motorcycle collections in the world.
Yep.
Surely.
I like the passion.
Yeah.
The passion of the bikes. Like that thing will start up and run.
Yep.
And ride. Yeah.
Well, we have a huge history of motorcycling in Australia, don't we? Like it's a big, rich history.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another one you said was one of your favourites was this 1912 flat tracker.
Yes, that's
Eh?
it.
We've got to have a look at that, mate. That is an absolutely stunning looking
Yeah,
bike.
well, that one there, we'll go over and have
Go
a
and
look.
have a look. Just
That's beautiful.
that is. How many cc's?
1000 cc.
1,000.
1,000? Really? Jeez, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought that.
The this one raced in the first TT in Australia.
Yeah.
In 1914. So
Where was that held?
Goulburn.
Yeah.
So, and then they
Oh yeah, but recently had the 100-year of.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's right. Yeah.
And then we actually got Eric Tyler's. We did a book, and you've seen that we've got all these scrapbook.
Oh, can I just before we go, guys? Peter does a book. What's it called again? It's the.
Pictorial history of motorcycle.
That's right. Yeah. And now I've got a copy of that book. I know Cole from Geelong's got them, and Gunner's got a few of them. How can people get a copy of that book if they? I know you got a website. Is that right?
Yes. Just, yeah. Type in Indian Engineering Australia.
Yep.
And then you just send us an email.
Yep.
We just went into production with another 100 books.
Yep.
So we're only really going to do 200 books.
It's a cracking book. Like it's really good.
Yeah.
Lots of great stuff in there.
Yeah. Photographer mate Colin goes a hand with it, and we've
Yep.
just reconfigured it a little bit
Yep.
to make it a little bit. But it's a book you'll read. You'll read a bit, and then you'll put it down.
Yeah, it come
and
back
then
to
you
it.
go back and you go, oh, when they've done this race.
Yeah.
And it's all Victorian Australian
Yep.
history. So
A lot of Geelong stuff in there too. I saw
Yep.
lots of. There's lots of There's lots of newspaper clippings and advertise. It's a fantastic book. Really good.
Yeah. So he would have been on this bike or ridden this bike back in the day, because Indian had, before these come out, the Speedway Twin. So you got no gearbox. It's just one speed and away you go.
It is it looks like it'd be quick as hell on the body, on the track,
so,
you know. Whole lot of fun.
Just amazing. Beautiful, isn't it? Like really. Yeah. And a pretty bike too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about these old bikes, they've just got such character, you know. Every one of them has got its own character, hasn't it? They're individuals, and they're just stunning.
These flat trackers, you imagine riding like a bit of spaghetti down the road, like a motorised push bike down the road.
1,000cc motorised push bike.
Yeah, with no brakes.
Yeah.
They're overrated brakes, really, aren't
they? That's it. So, so this is a pretty special bike.
Yeah, very nice.
But, and then you got the pedal start ones. So.
Yep.
Which is this next one over here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Actually, we're talking about Kenny Leach's before.
Yep.
That was taken at Broadford. Kenny was on the inside, and these slow pricks, and I was coming around the outside. But,
you were rounding them up.
Racing with some of these guys, like Mason was out on the racetrack and he was 15 years old, and then you get back to the race family all the time.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty cool.
I even love these ones over here, mate. This is beautiful. This one here, the sensational looking thing.
Yeah, you can't beat original paint.
Yeah,
Can't beat it.
It's just incredible.
Yeah. Same thing. You'll just get this out and ride it. Take it for a ride.
Yep.
You riding the Chiefs. It's like, or riding the Ace. It's like you're sitting on the bike. It's like you're heading down to church, and you look across, and your wife's got the little bayonet on, and you get out of the church, and then
Now, folks, I just got to tell you, Pete's actually an electrician, and some of the lighting here leaves a lot to be desired. That's all. I'm just going to say that.
I had to say period lighting, right? Period lighting.
Period lighting.
You could have gone with something more than candles, though, mate.
I know.
Candles and gaslight.
Folks, that's that book I was telling you about. It's an incredible book. If you're into that sort of stuff, get yourself a copy, because it is fantastic. Really good. Look at this. All these old pictures, and it's fantastic. Look at it. One of the best books I've ever got.
Yeah.
It's a ripper.
Cool.
Yeah.
Righto, this is a 1938 rear cylinder.
Yep.
Manufactured by Indian Engineering, cast in Castlemaine. Machined in Wangaratta. Friend of our mate Paul machines them, and then they get dressed up and finished here. And Paul Friswell in Bendigo.
Yep.
He is the legend of legends with patterns. With all these things, it's taken us probably 4 years to develop them and test them, and it takes, you've got to get your name out there. And the set that done the Cannonball twice now, so they're pretty well tested. But we talk about Paul Friswell and his patterns. If you have a look at that pattern, he's just like the master pattern guy. So he's given his hand with all we've got Sport Scout frames, patterns getting made. So as an electrician, I knew 3 parts and nothing about cylinders, but I did my apprenticeship on the Sport Scout ones, which are the race ones we use. Now we're doing aluminium race ones, but these things are heading off all over the world. But certainly,
mate, credit to you, mate. Like seriously, to be supplying the whole world from here is just incredible.
Yeah. But in saying that, you got a lot of good people behind you, the pattern makers, the machinists. The machinist is making cam followers for us, and it's just, you got this brainiac Mason and himself, coming up with these ideas, and we're just following through. Smash it,
mate. Incredible.
This is Tony's little domain. She's the parts lady. So
So Tony's
my boss. My boss, and then you got Mason that's my boss.
Yeah.
And I'm just a bloke that gets yelled at. So, but this is where it all. Tony packs up bloody parts and sends them off, or
Far out.
we manufacture a lot of parts because of the shipping of the parts.
Wow.
A lot of it's Kiwi from America. You get a little bit from Greers, but
All the old carbies up there.
Yeah.
Cool are they?
yeah. But yeah, this worked. Man, there's some stuff goes out of this joint.
I never knew. I mean, I knew you were into it. I didn't even know it this big. Jeez.
Yeah, that's what we're doing today, invoicing.
Okay.
Just, I had to take her out for lunch, so she'd invoice for me. After breakfast, I had to go for breakfast. But we're talking about the tall-fin race heads. These two are getting ready to go to Japan. Trying to make their own combustion chamber, so, and with your spark plug, just the positioning of a spark plug. Because the more technical you get, you got the facing where the spark plug's going to the flame and all this.
Yeah.
So they're just about ready to go to Japan with a couple of cam followers. But never ends. See?
Very cool.
Harley generators have been done.
Yep.
But same thing, you were talking about our little electronic regulator. It'll sit in like a
yep.
Harley rig or a Indian rig. So
Wow.
yeah. And there's some of our race products we do.
Yep.
Yeah, just for your linkets and go fast parts and bits and pieces.
So you got your own lathe and everything, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lathe and mill.
Yep.
And then with the race bikes, normally you lose about nearly a kilo, and not quite a kilo, just in your steering, your dampener for your forks. So we make all that out of aluminium now. Another friend of ours, or two of them, have got laser cutters. Best thing in the world. Best thing in the world. We've got another friend that's retiring. We've got all the presses for the tinware.
Yep.
He's a sheet metal worker, so he's just ready to retire. So
Get him on the books.
yeah, yeah. I told him I got a retirement job for him. So yeah.
Well, mate, it's an impressive bloody setup, isn't it? And to think that, you know, here we are in little old, what's the name of this town again?
Downtown Bundalong.
Bundalong.
Downtown Bundalong is leading the world in keeping the Indian franchise alive, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it? Mate, that's unbelievable.
Righto, well, again, an absolutely incredible collection and another man with a wealth of knowledge. Whitey, what do you got to say, mate?
Mate, I just cannot understand how we've got such a huge, another huge collection here in Australia. But, I mean, we're here in Bundalong. Now, Bundalong is not what I'd call...
A thriving metropolis.
Well, it's not Milwaukee or bloody Springfield, is it?
No.
I mean, but yet the Indians are going to survive because of this man. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Honestly, Pete, I can't thank you enough, mate. Yeah, well, I mean, you've taken it. Pete's been all afternoon with us, really, so we didn't have to do that. But we've had an absolute ball out here. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, mate. Once again, thanks very much.
Anytime. Well done.
Ripper, mate.
And we'll head back to the studio.
Well, mate, we popped in for 20 minutes.
Yep.
How long were we there?
3 hours.
The girls were sitting there going. No, the girls were
supposed
having a
to be
good...
checking in at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
We're checking about 5:30.
Yeah, it was going dark by the time we got to our hotel because, like, this was paradise.
Yep.
You know, even it was Polaris paradise, I'd call it, mate. It was with a smidgen of HD thrown in there as well.
Yeah.
But it was as you say, when we talk to blokes like this, the knowledge level. It's just you cannot walk away not learning something.
No.
And to find that they've got an industry, they've created their own industry, worldwide industry in the middle of Bundalong.
Yep.
Amazing.
Well, it actually started in the middle of COVID.
Yes.
That was the whole point of it, the whole problem.
Yeah.
They started it because one of their mates got stuck there.
Yes, that's exactly right. So the story there was absolutely incredible. But For those of you that are coming on the Brass Monkey Run,
You're gonna love it.
that is going to be the highlight of the Saturday day's ride that we're going on.
And Peter's no shrinking violet either. He'll talk all day. He's just a great bloke. It was fantastic talking to him. Like I said, I'd been there before. I was rapt to see the look on your face. But how's the smell of the shed when you go in there? It just smells like old
motorbikes.
Yes, it's just fantastic. It reminds me of my grandfather's shed. Just awesome.
Absolutely awesome, mate. It was, so we're looking forward to heading back there in a couple of weeks with around about 50 flogs at this stage, mate.
Yep.
So
there's still one room available. It's a family room.
Yep.
Where we're staying. The place we're staying is absolutely sensational. It's got a communal room. It fits about 50, 60 people in there.
Yep.
But it is like top notch. It has got.
We're going to have a ripper night.
It's going to be a ripper. We got across the road. We've got the ski club that they've organised stuff for us.
Well, we've got a private room at the ski club for lunch.
It's unreal.
For dinner, sorry.
Yep, for dinner
on Saturday night.
Yep.
Friday night. Friday night.
Yep.
We're going over to the Mulwella Ski Club, and we've got a private room there, which will hold about 80 people. So
and they've got buses to pick us up.
This is going to be a magnificent, fun weekend.
Yeah.
So if you've been sitting on the fence, the other thing I want to know, if you haven't told us you're coming and you've booked yourself,
please tell us.
Can you let me know, because we've got to cater for this thing.
Yep.
So especially Saturday night, and there is a small cost.
Yep.
I think we're charging.
It's $20.
I think it's $20 a head,
Yep.
and that's going to cover Saturday night's meal, which we're going to be getting pizzas brought in.
Yep.
And also while we're at Peter's, the cost of the afternoon tea. So it's $20.
Yep.
Trust me. It's worth more than that just to go and have a look at this collection, let alone the fun and games we're going to have. So we're going to have a ripper time.
The actual motel we're staying, they're actually supplying eskies with ice and everything to put your drinks in.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about bringing eskies or
it's going to be a brilliant weekend.
It's going to be a ripper weekend, mate. Yep. I can't wait. It's fast approaching too.
Yes.
Let's get in there. All right, so that's the Brass Monkey Run.
Yep.
So as I said, if you haven't let us know you're coming, I need numbers and preferably names.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go.
Yep.
So that's that, mate. Now, we were talking about Peter Stevens going into voluntary, what is it called? Administration.
Administration, yeah.
I got a phone call we got a text came through on one of our sites the other day, and it got me worried, mate. So I was immediately on the phone because I heard some things about our mates up at Empire Harley in Bendigo.
Yep.
One of the three or four independents that are left, and we were told it was on the market.
Yeah.
So I got straight on the phone and I had a chat and they go, how did you bloody... I go, oh, I've got eyes everywhere. Anyway, so I rang up and I had a chat, and look, basically they are selling.
Yep.
It is up for sale. But there's nothing nefarious there. It's simply they've decided that two of the three owners, Jake and Harry, live in Ballarat.
Yep.
And they're travelling every day to Bendigo. And with young families, it's just become...
too hard.
Yeah, difficult.
Yep.
So they've decided that best thing to do would be to, offload it onto someone else who can take it further and sometimes you got to make those decisions, I guess, mate, especially when you're a young family. We all made big decisions when we were young. That's a big decision to make. And quite frankly, if I had a spare, whatever it is they're looking for, about 350, I think they're looking for, plus stock.
Yep.
I mean, that is in a ripper area. There's lots of bikes up there. There's lots of customers. And I don't think, I'll tell you what, I'd be buying one of those before I'd be buying one of Peter Stevens myself, because you're in this massive area which is yours. No one else is allowed to put
it's a growth area too. Lots of housing.
Franchise in there.
Yeah, lots of housing.
A lot of people moving up that way.
Yep.
So good luck to the boys. I hope they get what they're after.
Yep.
And let's hope someone with just as much passion and love for the brand take control, because that place has got, it's
potential everywhere.
Love it. So good luck, fellas.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Subscriptions, mate.
We need some.
Yes.
We are only about I think we're 600 shy of
5,000.
5,000 now. It's really important that we get to 5,000 because that's when it kicks in the algorithm and makes a massive difference.
Yep.
And what does it mean to you, the viewers, I suppose, is all you care about? Well, number one, it's free of charge. Hit that subscription button, it's free of charge and it costs you nothing.
Yep.
But the difference it makes to a small YouTube channel like ours
Massive.
in able to grow, because the bigger we can grow numbers-wise, the more we get a little bit more credibility to be able to go to, you know, and you can see that, you know, if a year ago or 15 months ago, mate, I'd have asked for someone from Victoria Police's High Command to come on the show, I'd have been laughed at.
Yeah.
But yet, now we've teed it up.
Yep.
It's all about that. It's all about getting more people on. You know, if we can get sponsors on board, not to sponsor us, but to sponsor products that we can, you know,
Give
use
away.
as giveaways
Yep.
and that, it makes the so. What we're going to put up is at the end of this, I'll put up the QR code for the show in the end notes.
Yep.
Right. Instead of putting a what's the name up this time, instead of putting the next video up, there'll be the QR code. Grab your phone, put it in photo mode, hold it, point it at this QR code. You all know how to use QR codes, mate. We had 3 years of learning.
Yep.
Right. When our YouTube channel comes up, if you could please hit that subscribe button, it
Yep.
would make a massive difference to us. And if you've got any mates that ride and who you know are following the channel or aren't following the channel, we'd love you to go to our Facebook page.
Put them onto it.
I'll put them onto it. I'll put that the code and a link that you can send to them in the Facebook group.
Yep.
And we'd love to grow this thing even bigger, mate, because quite frankly, it's starting to you know take effect. We're
Yeah.
starting to have a whole lot of fun.
Yep.
Not just us, but everybody that's getting involved.
Well, you think this Brass Monkey Run, for example.
How good's that going to be?
Well, the first time we did it, we had about 12 people.
Yep.
The second time we did it, we had 20 odd.
28, I
Yeah.
think.
This
Yeah.
time there's 50 odd.
going.
I mean, this could end up being Flogfest
Flog Fest instead
30-30.
of...
You know what I mean?
No, everybody loves a good Flog Fest. So that'll be absolute ripper, mate. Now, the other day, you and me went for a little ride.
Yes.
A little ride. And it was a pre-Brass Monkey Run because, I'll tell you what,
It's cold.
I think I had stalactites hanging off my boobies.
Nether regions.
30 off my nether regions. Hey, it was, Jesus, it was cold. But it was actually a lovely day.
It was.
But it was just bitterly cold in the morning. And we got on the bikes and I came over from my place and we met on the way to Geelong and we went to Geelong West Footy Oval.
Yep. To see Berkey off.
We met Berkey, the Indian Crusader.
Yep.
Or as we like to refer to him, the Polaris Adventurer.
Yes.
And he had his first kick there.
Yep.
Scored a goal.
That was the
On
only-
his first kick.
That was the only one he got.
That was the only one he had all week, I think. And then we rode with him for the first about 60, 70 Ks.
Yep.
To send him off on Berkey's boot ride.
Yes.
Now, we've done a full video on Berkey's boot ride, which went up last Wednesday. Normally, we don't do anything in the week in between, but if you haven't seen it, go back and have a look at it because
It was actually a good day.
it was a ripper day out, and I've been following Berkey through his adventures, mate.
Yep.
Boy, I tell you what, the smiles on some of those kids' faces when he's put a pair of boots on their feet.
I tell you what.
Priceless.
I tell you what.
What?
I had a word to Berkey during the week.
Why is that?
The AFL
Yep.
needs a fucking rocket.
Well,
They're
not involved.
I'm not going to say any more because I think Paul's going to say it. Well, I hope he's going to say it. But the AFL needs to have a good, hard, long look at themselves. Forget about all the shit they're involved in and get back to grassroots football.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're very quickly becoming
Irrelevant.
irrelevant, right?
Yep.
And very, very
Mate, I
disappointing.
just don't understand how this thing... I mean, we had what? There was probably 40 people there on the Oval, and then there was another... Then we all rode with him, and then there was another 15 or something. And then he was met at the border by our mate Murdo,
Yep.
our South Australian rep.
Yep.
And rode him into Adelaide.
Yep.
And then I think one of the boys that were with him ended up staying with him for 3 or 4 days.
Yes.
And this thing has just got legs, mate, and we are going to support it to the hilt.
Yep.
And as a result, I think we announced it last week
Yeah.
that half of the money raised from this year's Corbin seat raffle
Yep.
and other things raffle that will
Yep.
be announced in the next 2 episodes. We'll announce that and we'll get some tickets made
Yep.
up. We'll be going to Berkey's Boot Ride.
Yes.
Because it is such a wonderful... and it's actually making a difference to kids' lives in the bush.
Mate,
You know.
have a look. Jump on his
Jump on his webpage,
on
his
the Facebook page and his Instagram as well. Have a look at some of the smiles these kids are getting on, on there. I mean, I've heard a couple of stories too with one teacher went crook because they were out of class and getting free footy boots. I was like, mate, calm down.
Yeah.
Like, far out, mate.
You can't give them to every kid, and he's picked the Outback because there's not too many kids running around Melbourne in bare feet playing footy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And,
so, to me, it's an absolutely fantastic cause, and I cannot believe with the amount of shit that the AFL spends their money on, that they wouldn't put their hand in their pocket. Forget about freaking diversity around for a minute.
He should have done, you probably would have got more help from the AFL, mate, if he'd have done Mardi Gras in the bush or something.
Yeah, but seriously, like they need to. I think Sam Hume's going to jump on it as well. Good stuff.
Good. We have got some merch. If you haven't, we'll put it down here. Here, I'm going to put it here. The merchandise page we've got, our big cartel.
Yep.
We are big players in the cartel world.
Yes.
We have got a heap of merchandise there. We've got stickers, stubby holders, T-shirts.
Yep.
What else we got?
Signs.
Signs.
Yep.
The Man Cave signs are
Yes.
very cool.
Yes.
And they've sold really well. So if you're looking for any, I'll put it in the show notes. You can just click on it in the show notes. You can go to our big cartel, have a look, and we'll have a look, mate. We'll put a special up this week.
Yep.
Which will last for where are we at? We'll put it up for right until the end of July.
Yeah.
All right,
done.
We'll put it up right until the end of July. So I'll put a package of some kind together, and we'll save you a few dollars. We'll make absolutely nothing, but it gets the Hogs Cogs name out there, and it helps out people, especially if you've got a cool man cave. It ain't a cool man cave. It ain't got a Hogs Cogs and 2 Aussie Flogs sign.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
So that's where we're at, mate. Now, upcoming events.
Yep.
I've only got 2. First of all, there's one in Victoria, which is High Side, which is why did that go off? It's killing me, this thing. Fair dinkum. All right, there's a shop in Campbell. Where a second? Let me find it again. It's gone running away from me. Oh my God! There we go. High Side are having their 2nd birthday party. It's the Not Dead Yet party.
Okay.
All right, and that is being held on the 29th of June at 299 Whitehorse Road, Baldwin. So they're a small independent bike shop.
Yep.
And you know how much we love supporting the small independents, mate.
Yep.
All right, so if you've got nothing to do on the 29th, have a look on our Facebook affiliate page, Victorian Motorcycle Rallies, Runs and Events. It tells you all about it there. But just head down. They're going to have a heap of specials, and they're going to have all sorts of things happening down there.
Cool.
More importantly, the big event this week, I've even got a poster. Inkfest 2025. This is an event run in South Australia. It's actually being run at Factory 124 Pentland Road, Salisbury South, this Saturday.
That's for MND.
Yes, all proceeds that are made will go to MND. They've got 8 bands from 12 o'clock till, oh my God, get me an Uber home. On 28th of June. This Saturday, 28th of June, it's the 2nd annual Ink Fest. It's run by Brothers Inc.
Yep.
The boys, shout out to the boys up there, Luke and everybody. They've invited us along.
Yep.
So I'm going along with the tail gunner.
Yep.
We're getting in the car this Thursday and making a weekend of it. And we're staying very local to this. So if you're in the area and you want to go have something to do Saturday, this sounds like a big party, mate.
Yep.
So I'll be taking a few cameras along. I'll get a grab for Hogs Cogs.
Yep.
And if you're there and you see me and Lisa walking around, please say hello. And it's a tattoo and rock and roll show.
Awesome.
I like tattoos.
And you like rock and roll?
I like rock and roll. And I love the biker community. So we are going to have a ripper time this Saturday.
Should be good.
I'm going out with some of the boys Friday night. apparently. They've threatened to have an enjoyable evening's dinner with me.
Okay.
I said, well, as long as I can wash that down with some wild turkey, I'll be a happy man.
Go on.
So, yeah, so looking forward to catching up with Animal and Luke and all the boys over there this weekend.
Yep.
And I might be back next weekend. And you're going to be away next week.
Yes.
So,
I'm
on a secret mission.
I'm going deep. We're going remote.
He's going remote.
We're going.
Is that remote as in remote
No,
control?
we're going very remote.
You're going very remote. I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that, mate.
Yep.
Speaking of which, Paul's channel, the Harley Roadshow.
Yes.
Links in the show notes, and my channel, That Harley Couple.
Links in the show notes.
Links in the show notes. Get on over and subscribe to them too. Come on, you're getting all this crap for free. Hey, it's free and it's great.
If it's for free, it's for me.
That's it. If it's for free, it's for me. Where have I heard that before?
No.
That seems to be about. Have we? Tick, 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 tick.
That's it. That's done.
That's it, mate. It's been a big week.
It has been a big week.
It has been a big week. Thanks again to Peter for hosting us out at his place, and we're looking forward to getting back with all the flogs on the Brass Monkey Run.
Can't wait.
It's going to be a whole lot of fun, mate.
Guys, for Christ's sake, ride safely.
Please.
You don't want to hear any more, please. Well, that's it from me.
That's it from me.
That's it from Hogs.
Cogs.
And 2 Aussie Flogs.
Ciao.
See you guys.